What's up, everybody? On a podcast now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about if Predator Hunting Grounds will ever come to Xbox One, or really even, to be honest with you guys, really even any other system. Nintendo Switch, Steam, we know that's only available right now on the Epic Games Store. Now, before I get too far in this video, my second channel, we have been covering Predator Hunting Grounds on there, as well as just gaming things in general. If you guys are interested in checking it out, I'll leave it in the description below. If you guys feel inclined, check it out. Subscribe would mean a whole lot to me. And as always, I truly do appreciate you guys supporting that channel, supporting this channel. You guys have done an awesome job really supporting the Predator videos, supporting the channel, all that kind of stuff. I owe you guys a ton, and I really am grateful that you guys watch these videos. So let's talk about this. You know, this is something I've hinted at and I've talked about throughout all of the other videos discussing Predator's future, right? When we talk about what the game needs to do in order to last a long time, because we're still in the midst of it. We're 2 weeks into the game. The game is still fun. People haven't reached level 100 yet, unless you've really, I know somebody reached it. Like, remember there was a picture I think on Twitter posted literally the next day. It came out on the Thursday night. By Friday night, I saw a picture of somebody at level 100. I don't know how that person did that. I guess if you ride that double, like the XP perk that you can use for the fire team, you could probably get there a whole lot faster. I'm just about there. I'll probably get there a little while, but you know, people are still experiencing this game. People are still enjoying it. As I've said numerous times, like May for the most part is very weak. There's not a lot of games coming out this month, and any game that is, you know, I think Nintendo is going to have a really big month on Nintendo Switch. A lot of games are coming to that, like the BioShock collection, stuff like that. So Nintendo will have a good month, but for the most part, it's Predator's month. You could continue to do stuff. You give us the DLC, you give us free updates, whatever you want to do to, you know, get more people into it or get people that maybe already have left to come back, all that kind of stuff. And why do I say all that? Well, those are things you can do to support the game. Those are things you can do to keep this game running for a long time. Because again, as I've always said, once it gets into June, once it gets into July, you know, as the months go on, people are going to naturally lose interest, and then also you're going to have a lot of other games stealing the spotlight, so people are going to step away. I think it'll always be there for a select group of people, and like I've said as well, I think that when it kind of eliminates all of the people that kind of jump in and jump out and it's just like the diehards left, I think that's when we're going to have some of the most fun Predator matches ever, because the fire team is going to be really experienced and really good. The Predator is going to be really experienced and really good. So it's going to be a really fun time. But what's another thing? What is another thing you can do to get this game into more hands, basically, right? Because that's kind of what DLC, that's what updates. After the initial push, after the game first releases, if you haven't gotten somebody, right, somebody that's going to get this game, if you didn't get them leading into it or like day one, there's not a whole lot you can probably do to get them in. Again, maybe if you add, maybe a map jumps out at somebody, but more realistically, you'd probably need to do something pretty drastic, pretty severe in order to get people that weren't interested to jump in. You'd have to do an event like an Alien versus Predator event, those kind of things. But what is another group of people that can't get this game or don't want the, you know, what's another group of those people is people that literally cannot get their hands, like they literally cannot go to the store or go online and buy this game. And who are those people? Really anybody that doesn't have a PS4 or Epic Games Store, because this game is exclusive to the two of them, right? So will the game ever come to Xbox One? I really hope it does. I truly do. You know, I love PlayStation. PlayStation's my primary console. I've kind of moved away from like the console wars. Like I guess I do root for Sony. Like I don't want the PS5 to like bomb. I don't want it to do terrible in I guess in comparison or versus the Xbox Series X. But you know, in a perfect world, I want the best for both. I want to be able to get a Series X. I want there to be good games there. I want both to be very healthy. You know, so you know what I mean? I'm kind of setting the stage so you guys know where I'm sitting. I don't wish for like the destruction of any of these companies. I don't wish, and I've said that, right? I don't wish for any of these games or movies that I talk about on the channel. I don't wish for them to be bad. At the end of the day, I want every single one of them to be good, unless it does something like really dumb and maybe pushes an agenda that just completely doesn't need to be there, stuff like that. Then we can have that discussion. But for the most part, and even for like that, if you want to say like The Last of Us Part 2, I still want that game to be absolutely amazing. I still want to really love that game. I'm not wishing for that game to fail. I'm really not. I know a lot of people are. I'm not. But in that same way, it's like, well, why would you not want Predator Hunting Grounds to come to other people? Because, you know, at this point, like, yeah, it's exclusive to PlayStation, exclusive to Epic Game Store, and like that's fine. You know, those companies are going to. I'm sure they're benefiting from it because a lot of people are playing this game. I think a lot of people are playing it. A lot of people are enjoying it. But eventually, it's like, okay, well, you know, other people, and that's really honestly that's a good thing. Even think about games like Rocket League, right, which started on PlayStation PlayStation. Remember, that was a PlayStation Plus free game, and then obviously it exploded and it went from there. The more you get people into these games, the more that a game opens up to different systems, becomes cross-play, all that kind of stuff. I think it just enhances the experience because you really get another wave of people that get to play this game. When Dead by Daylight does it, when Friday the 13th did it, all these different games, you get a brand new wave, which I believe Friday the 13th also came out on PlayStation first. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that came out on PlayStation and PC first, and then it came to Xbox afterwards. I could be wrong. Maybe it came out on Xbox at the same time, but it doesn't really, honestly, it doesn't really matter. When you add additional consoles and you add additional groups of people, you enhance the experience. Yes, you bring in people that have never played the game before, and then you're kind of when you're playing the game, you're playing with people that have never played, and I guess overall maybe the overall experience is a little bit weakened, right? Over the first couple weeks playing Predator, you sometimes get groups of people that don't know what they're doing as a fire team, or a Predator that's really, really bad, or maybe you're a Predator and you're playing against a fire team that's not very good. You have those experiences, and like I've said, even in this video, as it goes on, and as people get better, and as people that just aren't that good, again, I mean, and everybody, by the way, has their own level of playing. I'm not saying like it's awful that you're bad at this game. No, I mean, anybody can play this game. I'm not judging you, at all. But if those people leave, which sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, you'll eventually get a more, I guess, refined, not necessarily a better, but more a refined experience. So if you get Xbox One people in there, you get Nintendo Switch, which would be awesome. To have it on the Switch would be pretty cool. I don't know how likely that. In fact, I would say that's next to completely impossible. But I guess it's got like a 0.1% chance. That's cool. You get a brand new group of people and you inject some life. Which again, as I've said, the game, it's doing great. I feel like it's doing great. I feel like a lot of people are loving the game. Yeah, the review scores are pretty awful, and there is a group of people out there that really just hate this game. Fine. That's actually fine. I think that's okay. Even myself, right? I've talked about my experience with Friday the 13th. I loved the game at first, and then now I despise it. I really don't like it. I mean, I think I don't like it in its current state, or I don't like it really after the first couple months of the game. I always will look back fondly on the first couple months I played Friday the 13th. I absolutely adored it. But, if people hated it back then, I could see that. If people hate it now, I could see that. So I understand why people don't like Predator. By the way, I get it. I know a lot of people don't like it. I completely understand it. But again, you have who you have. You're not really going to get, I guess there's obviously things you could do, like put the game on sale, right? We didn't talk about that in the beginning of the video. In order to get it into hands of people that otherwise wouldn't have gotten it, what do? Well, again, you could give it to other consoles or other platforms that haven't had it yet. That's the biggest way, by the way. That is the biggest way to expand it, that you could totally do that. But another way is putting it on sale, doing stuff like that. That would be a way, because if you don't want it at $40, maybe you want it at $20. Now, how likely is it that it comes to Xbox? Well, technically, it's being published by Sony, so that is a problem. That's a pretty big problem. I think publishers, now here's the deal, they're publishing it on PlayStation under Sony. You could also look at it as they were the publishers of Death Stranding, right? Kojima Productions made it, but Sony published it on PlayStation. The game is then now published by a different publisher on PC. So when Death Stranding comes to PC in July, because remember it got delayed, it was supposed to come in June, now it comes in July, it's not Sony publishing the game. So it is possible that you can have dual publishers. That is a thing. It's not very often, and it's pretty rare that it happens, but it does happen. So it's possible that Sony, and I mean, this is factual, right? They've handled the publishing of the game on the PlayStation 4, right? That's for sure. If the game were to come to Xbox, if the game were to come to Steam, stuff like that, let's talk specifically Xbox One, because I think that's maybe the biggest group of people that would maybe get it. Although you could argue Steam for sure, but honestly, I don't know that much about publishing rights for Steam versus Epic, stuff like that. So I don't, if I don't really feel comfortable going into it. Too many people may attack me. I don't want that. But for Xbox One, if that were to happen, a different publisher could do it. Now, am I saying Microsoft swoops in and says, we're going to publish it? I don't know. I think you'd kind of go like a back alley publisher, one that is kind of smaller. Maybe you've never even heard of them before. I mean, I can't give an example out because it would be maybe one that we've never seen before. But I think it's possible. It's not the most likely thing in the world, again, having Sony publish it is a big deal. That is a big deal. Having it been like so far been this PlayStation kind of thing that's been, you know, basically geared towards PlayStation, right? It is on PC, but you see Sony being the biggest pushers of this, obviously, because they're the ones publishing it, right? So if this game were to come out, firstly, this isn't a thing that happens like tomorrow, so I don't want to get people. I know I waited to the end of the video to say that. I think it's possible the game comes out on Xbox One. I think it's even, I would go so far as to say likely, but I don't think it's soon. I don't think it's coming out like next month. I don't think it's coming out in the summer. I think, if anything, it could be like a fall or like a spring next year thing where it comes to Microsoft publishes, or somebody, I guess, somebody would publish it on the Microsoft systems, and it would also come to next gen. Now, next gen is another thing that I want to talk about in the coming days as well. I do think, I guess to give you guys a preview, I think it's very, very likely this game comes to PS5 and Xbox Series X as well. I think it's kind of a no-brainer. If you don't do it, it's pretty much a bad move, but we'll talk about that in future videos. So to wrap it up, I think it's very, very possible. I don't think it's the most guaranteed thing in the world, but I don't think it's like never going to happen. I think giving it time, it's going to be on PlayStation. In terms of consoles, it's going to be on PlayStation exclusively for quite a while. Not just a month, not just 2 months. I think for a while, maybe 4, 5, 6 months at the least, and then we may see it on the Xbox systems. But that's just my opinion. That's just my thought. Let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think? Do you think this game is eventually going to make its way to Xbox One? Do you care? I mean, all of us that are playing this game right now do have it already, right? If you guys are playing the game, you have it. Doesn't necessarily mean much for it to come to Xbox One or Xbox Series X for us, but maybe do you know anybody that has an Xbox console that would play it, but they can't, you know, and obviously that would suit them, right? So let me know your thoughts, your opinions in the comments below. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all the videos go up. And thank you again so much for watching, guys. I truly, truly appreciate it. We're actually live streaming this game again tonight on podcast now. Over the next couple weeks, we're going to go back and forth. We're going to play the Star Wars, like the pod racing game. That's coming up. We're going to be playing through The Last of Us / maybe even The Last of Us multiplayer. But we'll be coming back to Predator as well. So more live streams, more discussions about Predator over the coming weeks, okay? Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next video.